Hi guys, it's Opheana Sikaal here. Today is session 5 of our Ascension Tools series. So today we're sharing about willingness to change and let go. This is a favorite of mine, I must say, because
of mine too.
this one gets people moving. So whether you're testing your own willingness or whether you've gotten a reading from us, it's a very key area to really get the magnifying glass out on yourself and your choices and your decisions and your actions and your being and your doing and your everything, and having lots of chats with the personality.
It's the first thing to say is as you go through the scale, it's where people get stuck. Like, for instance, the guru complex, people get comfortable, complacent.
No change.
And then no willingness to change, or very low, maybe 50%.
I'm all good.
I might change
good.
if it's
I'm all good.
if
Yeah.
I really get pushed, or if I feel like it, maybe. And that's when spirit is going to pack it in a bit more, push a bit harder, push a bit deeper. Why? Because you are meant to move through these levels, and there's different levels going up. I mean, there's a level at 750 to move through, and then 850, and continuously you're going to be asked to change and let go. Change and let go. Change and let go. Especially as you move beyond the guru complex.
Yeah.
It's pretty much straight downhill, you can say, in a positive way, or straight uphill, as in letting go, peeling back who you think you are, peeling back who others think you are, peeling back what you have, peeling back who you are, who you're meant to be, peeling back your focus towards the future, peeling back your attachment to the past, bringing all of you, deeply infused by spirit, into the now. So you can hear we're very passionate about this one. Why? Because we know how relevant it is. And it's often so hard for people, especially in the third density matrix. Why? Because the third density matrix runs by clarity rules. This is how you do it. This is how you set up a life. This is what you do. You got to get your education. You got to get your work sorted, or you run your business, and then you have kids, and then you get married, and then you get the house, and then you get your pension. And it works for a lot of people. However, as you raise in consciousness, you guys listening to this, a lot of you are, high level density starseeds, and so you're going to probably have a little bit of a different path. Maybe not, but most likely. And so you're going to be asked to change a lot, grow a lot, have your personality's willingness to change and let go higher and higher and higher. And you'll find that it's more comfortable to be in the position of having a high willingness and just being ready for change, being ready to let go. And there's always a little bit of stubbornness sometimes, or a little bit of a delay in wanting to change, but the more easily and readily your personality can learn, it's an acquired skill to change as guided, not just change for change, not everything feels stagnant, I'm just going to move house.
I might go on a holiday.
Everything feels stagnant, why don't I just sell my car, or break up my relationship and maybe find a new relationship, or just try something different for the fun of it. Sometimes that is the answer.
List or something.
But it's about what you're guided to do. And it doesn't have to be very staticky, like It can be very flowing, but it will be constant, and at times it may feel like a really steep roller coaster or growth curve. And so that's when you want to just be open and know that change and letting go, even though sometimes you feel everything is uncertain and you don't know what the next step will be and you don't know if you're going to land on your feet, trust that you will, because or else you wouldn't be guided to do so. So the better you listen to your spirit and your teams, the more you can trust that it is safe to change and let go. And that will get you to better and better and better places in your life.
So let's separate change and letting go just for a moment. Just the willingness to change. Change has been something I've been very good at, and in my earlier years I would do it in an ungrounded way. Now I embrace it in a grounded way, in emergence with my presence and with my spirit, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. What presence says goes. We're one in the same. When we see people who are the same as they were 20 years ago, there's some big work to be done, because 20 years on this earth, there should be massive change. There should be massive growth. There needs to be, should's not the most positive word, but there has to be a level of evolving, of expanding, rather than being the same person for 20 years, the same ways of doing things.
Yeah. Especially as starseeds.
Especially the starseeds. Yeah, well, the starseeds are here to assist the third density beings that haven't risen above that yet, to learn how to change, to learn how to expand to the next level. So everyone needs to do this. Everyone needs to have a willingness to change if they want to raise their frequency. And that's what it's all about. It's change. It's been said over all time that the only thing we can be sure about is change. And if you delve into that, why is that? Why is that? It's because, look at nature as an example. It grows, it changes, it shifts, it dies out, it reshoots. The fires, they change the forest, and then it allows for new growth to come through. The winds of the earth, the shifts of the earth on its axis creates change. Nature is a divine reflection of us as beings here on earth. And so if there's no natural change going on, if there's a stubbornness to even just, I'm not changing, to stay stubborn because there's a comfort zone, to stay in this place of, I shall not move, this is what I want, I'm staying here, I don't want my wife to leave me. I don't want my kids to behave that way. I don't want to change my job. It's all I know, and I'm not going to learn something new. You can feel the low frequency, very thick density within that. And so it's asking your personality to open again to the idea that change is in the highest for the personality. Change can bring the personality what it wants. It can bring a higher level of faith. It can bring a higher level of freedom. It can bring a higher level of spiritual stability. Maybe not for a while external stability, but this stability within the pillar, because more spiritual energy and earth energy can be within your field. It can flow through instead of being stagnant and feeling like a piece of concrete on the earth. You literally are a vessel channeling your presence, walking on this earth in your highest power, rather than being stiff and stuck and not moving forward. So change is huge. The willingness to make changes. And it takes a lot of courage. It really, really does. It takes courage to make changes. But once you actually get in the flow of it, you just get this feel of knowing how good it is. It just creates so much expansion quickly. It creates a place for presence to come in and tell you more information. It creates a space for your beloved to come to you if that's in the highest. It creates a space for your family to expand together. It creates a space for synchronicity to speak to you, for nature to speak to you, for all of your entire reality to communicate with you. Because if you're not willing to change, there is no space for spirit to assist you to move forward in the way that you think you want to move forward.
And especially at this time with the ascension of Gaia, it is much harder to not change than to flow with change, because Gaia is changing so much as we move into this higher frequency part of the galaxy. Gaia with the solar system is moving to a higher frequency part of the galaxy. And so everything is changing. Climate change is an effect of Mother Gaia raising her frequency. And so all of this change allows you to accept and open up to the ability that you innately have from your spirit to change, let go, and trust that every time you step, The ground will appear, the next stone, the next step, the next move, or the next time to relax as you move through these things.
The peaceful times, they do come.
They do come, but if you don't change, you'll never know. And with all this change and letting go, you are guided to a version of your life, a timeline as we often call it, a version that you create that is much more closely aligned to what's deep in your heart and soul, what you really want. And sometimes it's hard to see the connection between those two things, but then your personality must trust that your spirit has the answers. Your spirit can see it all. It's like someone telling you, go left, go right, and you're blindfolded, or else you're going to hit this and hit that rock and stumble there, or fall in that from that cliff. But if you listen to spirit, a little bit, hold a little bit tighter here, a bit slower here, a bit faster here, or you're safe now to full out run. Listen to spirit and you'll feel it. Or this situation isn't right, I should go this path. And that's the willingness to change, even last minute changes. If you were going to go somewhere but it doesn't feel right, guess what? You don't go, because everything constantly changes. And it doesn't mean you won't sometimes have to push through things, because they're initiations as well. So you've got to learn to discern the difference between those two. When is it a life block and when is it an initiation? And one of the meditations we have done with Sananda in the past can help you with that. It's called, I think, recognizing life blocks or something like that, where he assists you with the Blu-ray to see if something is a life block, and you should simply change direction, or if you need to move through it, if it's just a rough patch.
A wall of fire.
Yeah.
So coming back to the letting go side of the willingness, the change creates a version of life where things need to start falling away for the change to take place. And so really looking at where you have attachment, again, to things, to people, to situations, to places, to how you need to be, do, act, behave, all of that. There are so many deep level judgments from family, from friends, from society on how you need to be. It's at this level you need to be 100% willing to be truly who you are, no matter how much it upsets other people, no matter how much other people say, you're changing, I don't like it, no matter how much people say, that sounds rude what you're saying, when you're just literally saying your truth. When someone says to you, why aren't you coming? You said you would come to this special family event. Why are you not coming? It doesn't feel in alignment anymore. And for people to respect that. And that's just how it is. And to follow your flow, not doing things because other people want that of you. This is a huge key. Letting go of what people think of you. Letting go of all of the areas where it could be holding you back. So even, again, items in your life that you've had for a long time and they're special. Really looking into why are they special and do I really need them? Going to a place of simplicity, because the more space you have without clutter, even if your house is not cluttered, even if you've got certain things that you're holding on to that you've had for a long time, they could just be a little bit dense now, they could be a bit 550, they could be a little bit guru complex, like some special statues that you're really attached to in the past. Check in, do you really need them now? Is it what's in the highest for you now? The paintings on the wall, the photos on the wall, all of that. Just being willing to let go of these things, let go of how your house needs to be. Let go of the chores that you feel that you need to do. Let go of the responsibilities in areas where you just don't want to do it anymore. That's not what I want anymore. Look into how can I shift this? And you're like, well, Opheana, that's all good for you, blah, blah, blah. You've created your life with the way that you work. Well, create the life to make it work for you too. Change the way that you work. And if that means you have less money, guess what? Figure out some ways that your budget can come back to absolute minimalism. Absolute minimalism. And then you can grow from there in whatever way. There are ways. There are ways to do all of this. And it's about step by step planning it out. That's what I want. I can sit here and complain about this crappy job that I'm in because there's no other way for me to pay my rent or my mortgage, or I could literally take steps towards making a change, letting go of my beliefs that I have to be responsible and I have to do it this way, and I have a responsibility for my kids to take them to three after school extracurricular lessons a week. Really? Do they actually really enjoy it, or do they just say that they do because they want to please mummy? You know, really deep down, delve into what is it that your kids really want. You know, in the end, what you truly want, how you want to spend your time, will align very nicely with what your kids want, with what your partner wants. You know?
And adding on to that is, in third density, we have gotten so used to sticking with and following up on what you promised to, or who you have been for others, or what they expect of you. It's very important not to break your promises, but to be in continual alignment with who am I meant to be, not what everybody expects of me. And we've said it before, but it's very important to repeat it, because it's a mindset change of thinking and feeling, what does my spirit need of me? Because it is your spirit that is guiding you, not everybody around you guiding you to be, because that's who you were. And it doesn't mean things and people can't move and change with you, but if you, let's say, have a certain position or a role, and that something is expected of you, you always do this job, you always show up there, you always do this presentation, you always do this, you always spend time on that, but it no longer sits right, it doesn't feel good anymore, then it is your responsibility to not only your personality, but your spirit and your life and your mission and your timeline and your everything to change and to flow. Because it's like you're in the stream, you're hitting your head against that rock, and you're caught in this churn. And you're not seeing that if you just do this a bit, there's a wide open, beautiful new flow for you to get a lot more excited and to be doing a lot more good and a lot more of the change that you want to see in the world. And so by you thinking you have to stay with how things were, because that's just how it is, that's going to keep you stuck. And that's where you need to be willing to be open and honest with other people around you as well and say, I'm not feeling it anymore. I'm going to pass on what I've been doing for the last 10 years, and maybe it's time for someone else to do it.
Yes.
That's the type of stuff you need to be willing to do. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's a bit scary, and sometimes it's confronting, and sometimes others won't like you for it. Not everybody is going to like your choices, but guess what? That's their choice. Yes. How they respond to your choices, and it's very important. And it doesn't mean that you've got to go make everybody unhappy, but it's more important that you live the life that you're aligned to and everybody else does around you, and then everybody from that higher perspective again can see how the whole puzzle fits together, because everybody is listening to their guidance from spirit, willing to change and let go, change and let go all the time.
And you can feel if there's a beautiful communication there with people and a beautiful acceptance, you can see how people would want to, of a high willingness in their own sense and a high frequency in their own sense, they would want to support you to do what's in the highest for you. Of course, I understand. You've been doing that for 10 years. It's time for you to make a shift. Of course, I've been seeing you grow. How often does that happen? It's not that often, depending on what kind of environment you have been in. So usually in the third density reality, usually that kind of change, there's gonna be some discomfort, and you just got to own it. You just got to deal with it.
And resistance.
The resistance within yourself, within others, But there is always a way. There is always a way through these areas, you know. There's always a way to do these things, to shift it in a way. And it doesn't mean, again, like Sikaal said, that there's either a life block or an initiation that you really need to look into. You know, if you've got a sick child, you can't say, I don't want to do it anymore. It's like, well, that's a contract you have with your child, you know. And within that, they also need to take responsibility for their choices, you know. We're very strong with our little ones, and we say to them, look, you can make a choice here. You can really make a choice. And we see them and they just shift it. Bam, done. Okay, and then they're back in the flow. And that's the way that we all need to be taught in this society, is there's always a way. Make a shift, okay? If it's from spirit, there is a way. If your heart has a calling, there is a way. So it's really coming again, always, for the letting go to happen. Trust, surrender, and just really flow with that. Whatever it takes, you know, because it's not you being mean to anybody. It's not you hurting your life by letting go of things, or losing money because you let go of a $50,000 piece of furniture, or whatever it is. If it's attachment to money, to how people see you, or anything like that, you've really go in very deep and find out all the attachments and let them go one by one by one by one. Let them go. Let go of the limiting beliefs of what it means if you make that change. How to get a little more comfortable, get your personality into alignment with the next change, and how to get a little more comfortable with that letting go. Just processing it for a while. You don't need to go and throw it all out and make the shifts and all of that type of thing, but really look at it. And if you've been in a relationship for 10, 15 years and you've been waiting for them to change, come on. You know, if their willingness is low, it ain't going to happen. So it's up to you. Yeah. It's you. You're the only one in that situation that can make the change. And then if they choose to change, guess what? They can come with you. But if they ain't going to change, nothing's going to change. And guess where you'll be in another 10 years? Same place. And it's probably not where you want to be. So trust, have faith, follow what's right for you, and everyone else can follow what's right for them or not. That's their choice.
And
theirs.
When it's time to change, it's time to change. Because the messages from Spirit are going to get clearer and harsher and clearer and clearer and clearer, especially as you raise in consciousness. You're on a finer razor's edge of existence and creation. So may as well listen, change, and let go. Because that's ultimately, once you integrate those lessons, everything flows easier. You're on a raft on the river of life. May as well make the moves fast, and in fact anticipate which moves are coming. The journey is going to be a whole lot funner and easier.
Rather than holding onto the rock. I'm just going to stay here. It's safer. I don't know what's down there. Just let it go. You're in a great raft.
And it's okay to feel a whole spectrum of emotions.
Yes.
It's not always going to be, oh, I'm so blissed out. I'm so happy now that I'm at this high frequency. No, because there's going to still be some fear and worry and anxiety. But you move through that. You let go of that and you move on. You let go and you let go and you change.
Emotion. Energy and motion.
The whole spectrum. But you don't want to sit in those lower emotions. It's okay to feel them, acknowledge them.
Let them flow out.
And then let them flow out in whatever way works for you.
Yeah, you know, we've been blessed in this time on this planet to expand very quickly if we choose to. And emotion is part of that, because we can feel big. We can drown in the emotion, or we can lift and rise above and see what's going on. That's a choice. That is the choice. Do I stay down here and drown, or do I shift, change, let go? That's it. It's always that we just letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. It's key. Turn the key. It's the area where it will literally create more grace in each moment in your life. So many blessings. May you embrace change and letting go. And we love you, and we'll see you in the next session.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.